I am Rochelle Ramirez, SVP of Product at Accredible. Let's explore a few of the key findings from this year's report. Over the past decade, we've all witnessed the labor market and post-secondary education landscape fundamentally change. Learners are exploring non-traditional avenues such as certifications, online courses, even apprenticeships and boot camps again, to supplement degrees or gain new skills. While employers, on the other side, are expanding hiring based on skills and learning to fill their skill gaps and create a more diverse workplace. Verifiable proof of skills has truly become the new currency today. However, even with all the market momentum, credential issuers are under increasing pressure to demonstrate the value and relevance of their credentials to stakeholders. And with seemingly endless options, how do programs differentiate from one another to gain the learner's time and investment overall? This is why we surveyed over 1,000 learners and nearly 200 education and training leaders to see what learners want from their courses and credentials, and if issuers are delivering what learners want, and what the most successful issuers are doing differently to be able to grow their programs. So what did we learn? Ultimately, credential issuers have a massive opportunity. More than 9 out of 10 learners are planning to take more courses. They're actively looking for recommendation from their course providers. But there is a significant gap between what learners want in their courses and what issuers are delivering. So we're going to dive into some of the key findings here. Let's start with today's first insight. Learners highly value digital credentials for career advancement. We found 96% of learners who earned a digital credential consider it valuable for their career, and 78% believe it increases their chance of getting a job offer. And this is amazingly great news for the industry and helps learners connect skill development with career outcomes. Issuer and technology partners like Accredible still need to better educate learners on the true value of digital credentials. Because when asked what type of credential they would like to receive, the most popular format was digital credential, but not by a huge margin. In fact, 1 in 4 had no preference. So, however, once we dug into which attributes of credentials are most important to learners, we discovered they have a strong preference for features only digital credentials can actually provide. Specifically, learners want credentials that are verifiable and protected against fraud, can easily be replaced if they're lost, are easy to share online, and then also include information like an overview of the acquired skill, evidence of what it took to complete the credential, and the criteria used to assess the skill. All elements that are unique to digital credentials. This leads us to our first takeaway for today. The most successful issuers are educating their learners on the value of digital credentials and what they offer to their career goals. They're not just issuing them. All right, our second insight for today. As noted earlier, the majority of learners plan to take more courses. However, we also discovered that in many cases, what learners would like to see in their courses doesn't align with what issuers are providing. For example, we found that evaluating learner options, 97% of learners reported wanting learning pathways of linked modules or courses to help them master a topic. Yet only 29% of credential issuers are providing them. Similarly, 92% of learners report actually wanting projects or assessments as part of their coursework, yet only 34% of issuers are offering them. This presents significant opportunity for issuers to meet these learner preferences and where they are in the market. So let's focus in on our second takeaway. The most successful programs align their offerings with learner expectations by incorporating elements like learning pathways, projects, or assessments, and then tracking learner engagement metrics to optimize your course offerings. Our third insight today, and we've certainly seen this firsthand at Accredible, Digital credentials not only recognize learner achievements and meet their credential preferences, but they also unlock a powerful organic marketing channel when issuers empower learners to share their credentials online. This also is boosting brand awareness and program referrals. In fact, 94% of issuers who have adopted digital credentials report a positive impact on their business, with the biggest benefit cited as increased credential sharing online. That said, many issuers are also reporting increasing credential sharing as one of their biggest goals or challenges. 2/3 of learners report sharing their credentials, but on the flip side, more than half of those who aren't sharing their credentials say they don't see a reason to do so. So helping them see the value of sharing is often missing in programs. And while 71% of issuers take the first step and send an email to award the credential, the majority stop there. Only 1 in 3 send a reminder to open the credential or share it. Moreover, 44% of issuers report doing nothing to recognize or reward learners who share their credentials. So that leads to our third takeaway today. The most successful programs not only provide guidance on how and why learners can use and share credentials, but also incorporate engagement strategies that encourage sharing. And they engage with the learners who share their credentials. The fourth insight we found, similar to the disconnect we spoke about earlier between what learners were looking for when enrolling in courses and what issuers are providing, issuers are missing a significant opportunity to meet learner expectation post-course completion in order to retain them. 84% of learners want to be included in an online directory for prospective employers, but only 35% of issuers are offering this value add. And 94% of learners want additional course recommendations to meet their career goals. But unfortunately, 1 in 4 aren't taking courses because they don't know what to take next. When asked what course recommendations they provide learners, 37% of issuers report they don't have a process for this, with another 24 reporting that their process is ad hoc, so they share their catalog to learners for review. With 92% of learners planning to take an additional course that offers a credential in the next 2 years, this presents a pretty significant opportunity for issuers to better engage learners post-course completion to generate ongoing revenue and expansion. Which leads us to our fourth takeaway from this. Successful issuers are more likely to make personalized recommendations based on which courses a learner has already taken. They also create additional learner value and connect them with future opportunities by recognizing recipients in an online directory. And then our last insight for today, we found that many programs lack visibility into how to improve their programs. When looking at program metrics, less than half of issuers track what content of courses learners are most engaged with, which learners are most engaged, what course completion times there are, and where learners drop off. Only 54% of issuers track which learners complete a course. And then surprisingly, only 23% track which learners take additional courses. And then only 13% of issuers are tracking program referrals from shared credentials. Without these insights, it becomes really hard to know what is or isn't working and refine a program strategy accordingly. So that leads us to our last takeaway today. Successful issuers are more likely to have more sophisticated tracking, where they're tracking things such as the number of credentials they issued, what their credential share rate is, referral traffic from credential shares, referred learner conversion. They know which learners are more engaged and where learners are dropping off, along with applicable program stats. So these are just a few of our takeaways from the 2024 State of Credentialing Report. report, and I'd really encourage you to dig into the report to find out more of what learners want and then what the most successful issuers are doing to grow their programs.